If there's one thing I hate about nutrition is the fact that regardless of how healthy my diet is, I feel like I need to supplement with a few key things. And that's what all these are for here. I'm gonna go through this today in today's Healthy TV episode is specifically what supplements I take, what's in my fridge, and I wanna give you some kind of guidelines as to how you can choose which ones are most appropriate for you. And we're gonna talk about a key concept. It really comes down to identifying what are the requirements that your body has for nutrition, and then what are the best strategies to meet those requirements. I think that a proper way to think about supplements or supplementation is they should be fulfilling nutrients that you otherwise can't get from whole foods. Now, there's just certain nutrients that unfortunately we've screwed around with our food supply so much and our environment is so stressful that we really do best, I think the best strategy to fulfill those particular nutrient requirements is through supplementation. So what are those? I've got three here that we consider essential. We've got vitamin D, okay? We've got probiotics, and we have a high quality fish oil supplement. So let's go through each one of them. The vitamin D is a super important molecule in your body. It's actually one of the most important molecules when it comes to your immune system. We normally produce vitamin D in our bodies, and actually right now in Canada, this is a perfect time of year. If you're out in the sun, getting exposed to sunlight regularly, then your body is actively producing vitamin D. However, for about 6-7 months of the year, at least here in Ottawa, we don't get exposed to the sun. In fact, the angle of the sun rays gets a little bit into some physics here, but the angle of the sun rays as they hit your skin, it actually is considered to be not deep enough to even initiate the production of vitamin D. So that's why we consider vitamin D an essential supplement. I recommend a liquid vitamin D, something that's housed in some fat, because vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, and a few drops of that every day really, I think, helps. I notice a difference. If I don't take it for a while, it takes about a month, but if I don't take it, I actually start to notice a difference in my energy levels, my immune system quality. I just seem to get like a little bit more sniffly, and so yeah, highly recommend that. In the summer, I just take a maintenance dose, but in the winter, I really ramp it up. Second one, fish oil. Fish oil is not, the requirement is not fish oil, but the requirement is the type of fat that is contained in high volumes in good quality fish and fish oil, wild fish. It's called omega-3. You probably heard about this. It's been certainly not no secret to the media. We hear a lot about omega-3s. Really the take-home point here is that our diets are really high in another type of fat called omega-6s. So when we eat a lot of grains and grain-based products, and animals that are fed grains as well, we get dosed with a lot of omega-6. Now, both omega-3 and omega-6 are essential. Your body needs both of them. But when they're way out of whack, when you have way more omega-6s and not enough omega-3s, that creates what's called a pro-inflammatory state in your body. Whereas when they're balanced, omega-3s is actually anti-inflammatory. So if they're balanced, if they're at like a 1-to-1 ratio, then that creates a optimal environment so that your body's, really your immune system can respond in the appropriate way. So it's not generating an inflammatory response unnecessarily, okay? Eating enough fish to get the adequate amounts of omega-3s is possible. It just would be pretty challenging. You have to probably eat fish every day, maybe a couple of times a day. And it would have to be wild fish. And there's other concerns about consuming a lot of wild fish as well, some of the heavy metals. So that's why we recommend high quality fish oil supplement. Now, a couple of things you want to avoid any of the concentrated products and something that's like cold pressed, like mechanically distilled, so that basically it's just like squeezing fish and they're squeezing the oil out, and that's what you're consuming. Okay. There's a huge variation again in the quality. So for any of these products, if you're just concerned about what you're taking, or maybe you're looking at the shelf at the health food store and you're like, man, there's so many options, what do I buy? Just send me an email. Take a picture of what you have at home, or perhaps what you're considering buying. I'm happy to give you some feedback. I want to save you some dollars, so don't waste your money. Get some feedback first and I'll let you know. Okay. The third one is a probiotic. Now, if you've been living under a rock, maybe you haven't been hearing about probiotics, but for everyone else, you're well aware now that our gut is made up of a ton of bacteria. In fact, people say that if you count all the bacteria on our skin, in our oral cavity, in our gut, then we actually have more bacterial cells than we have human cells, which is pretty hard to wrap your head around. Now, we know for sure right now that the microbiome, so the bacteria in your gut, they play a huge role in a whole bunch of stuff in your body, a whole bunch of like health benefits or health effects in the body. So we know, as an example, they contribute to digestion of food. They contribute to extracting particular nutrients from food that we can't otherwise do. It contributes to your immune system. There's actually like signaling that goes from the bacteria to your immune system to help to prime your immune system to respond to certain pathogens. We also know that there's through chemicals that the bacteria produce, they actually cross the blood-brain barrier, and so there's actually like a gut-brain connection that's happening, and that can affect your moods, it can affect your cognition. So there's a huge connection. These guys are super important. Now, it's not a panacea to just simply take a probiotic, but it's a good step in the right direction, particularly if you dealt with any gut issues in the past, or if you've taken antibiotics. Even a few years ago, if you had to take antibiotics and never supplemented with a probiotic, definitely a good idea to chuck those onto your list. Okay, again, quality matters. What you want to find is human-derived strains. They're the ones that are actually, or those strains originate from the human intestine, and the other thing is you want to find ones that have a high enough volume. So we recommend that you start like a good maintenance dose is starting with 20 billion per day, but in some cases people are taking 50, 70, 100 billion per day. Now the other thing about probiotics, which I just recently learned, is that you want to swap products. So you don't want to be taking, going from one product to the other. So right now we're using a Genestra product, but once I'm done with mine, I'm going to actually move on to something else, just so that apparently there's you want to be changing strains to help to populate have a wide variety of bacteria populating your gut. Okay, that's probiotics, vitamin D, fish oil. Those are the three what we consider the essential supplements. Now, I've already gone a little bit long, so I'm going to save the other couple of supplements I want to talk about for some shorter videos coming up this week. If you have any questions about supplementation, please put in the comments below. I'm traveling this week, so I won't be checking in, but I will be following up with you in the next week. And I would always, welcome your questions. I'm certainly no expert in supplementation, but I just navigate this stuff myself. And if I don't know the answer, you know what? I'm going to look it up because I want to learn too. All right. Have a great week, and we'll chat to you next week.